Matt's never seen a flick at all, no blockbusters nor any all. He don't get the quotes we say, doesn't know Tom Cruise is gay.
Hey everybody, I'm Joe. Welcome back to Movie of the Week. For those of you new here, Movie of the Week is a place where we like to put out a list of movies for you to vote on for our good friend Matt to watch, because every movie on this list is a movie he's never seen before. Now, in case you haven't seen the thumbnail, or maybe you did see the thumbnail, you may be wondering what each one of these movies has in common. Other than the fact that each one of these movies came out in the 2000s and, well, each one of these characters has a head full of curly hair, there's not too much that they have in common other than maybe that they are all comedies that feature oddball, awkward, deadpan humor characters. We thought that this was a great group of movies to put together for Matt to check out, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into this week's list. So for this week's list, we have 4 comedy movies, 3 of which I absolutely love, and one I probably would like if I did see it. I just haven't seen it yet. That movie being Nacho Libre. I'm quite a big fan of Jack Black, despite the fact that he's in everything right now. In the early 2000s and the teens, you couldn't go wrong with putting Jack Black in a movie, and now it kind of seems like they're overusing him for a lot of crap. But disregardless of what he's in now, the stuff that he had back in the day was pretty good, and I like to think that I would enjoy Nacho Libre just as much as I enjoyed all these other movies. So let's get into this week's list, and we're going to start off with the movie that I haven't seen, Nacho Libre. I'm going to give you what I think the movie is about based off the clips and the scenes that I've seen from it, and then we're just going to look up what the movie is actually about so that you, the viewer, are informed and know what you're going to be voting for. So based off everything I've seen, I would say I know Jack Black. He's playing a Mexican dude, which is a little weird, but we're going to let it slide just because it's Jack Black. I believe he is playing a priest in Mexico, and I think at night he goes out and does amateur wrestling. If I would say, I think he's doing it just to raise money for the church or something like that. Probably for all the little Mexican kids out there that just, I don't know, need money. I think he also has a love interest with a nun, which I don't know how that works out with priests and nuns. I didn't go to Catholic school that long enough to figure out exactly how their relationships work out, or who marries who, or what. I don't know. That's what I think the movie's about. Let's see what Letterboxd has to say as for the plot summary. It says Nacho Libre is loosely based on the story of Fray Tormenta Friar Storm, aka Reverend Sergio Gutierrez Benitez, a real-life Mexican Catholic priest who had a 23 career
girl who wants
Kid can't even read.
As a masked luchador. He competed in order to support the orphanage he directed. Alright, so I'm not too far off right there. I didn't know it was based off a real person. I would imagine that the real life guy probably wasn't anywhere near as funny as what Jack Black is. Maybe he is, maybe he wasn't, I don't know. But that's the movie Nacho Libre. If you think that's going to be a great one for Matt to watch, go ahead and cast your vote for that one. The next movie on the list is a early 2000s comedy called Napoleon Dynamite. And if you've never seen this movie and you watch it now, chances are you probably might just not get the comedy of it. It was a product of its time. However, I kind of feel that this comedy does stand the test of time, given the fact that you can't really tell the time frame that this movie was made. It's made in the 2000s. It's set in the 2000s. However, it gives off a 70s, 80s, and 90s feel all at the same time. The first time I seen this movie, I was at a friend's house. It was playing in the background at a party. Wasn't really into the party, so I started to kind of watch the movie a little bit. Somewhere in the middle is when I came in, and I thought it was a movie made by just people on the spectrum. I didn't understand what was going on. It was the most deadpan, dry humor I ever heard of. However, once I seen the scene where Uncle Rico grabs Kip's steak off his plate and chucks it at Napoleon, hits him in the face, I was like, this is gold.
Watch this. What the heck are you doing?
That's what I'm talking about.
I love it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it from beginning to end. And I ended up loving it. It was a great movie. If you don't know what it's about, a socially awkward kid in high school kind of just goes around about his day and ends up befriending a new kid in school. He runs for, they end up running for class president, and that's just about it. There's not too much going on in this film. However, there's so many iconic scenes in here, so many notable quotes, so many references on here that it is just pure gold in my book right there. And that movie is Napoleon Dynamite. If you think that's going to be the movie that you Matt should watch next, go ahead and vote for that one. The next movie on the list is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Now this one came out a little bit later than some of the other ones. I think it was 2010. So technically kind of in the teens. Now this movie kind of falls a little bit more under the action adventure with some comedy in there. However, given the jokes and the visual gags in this movie, I'm just going to chalk it up to a comedy that has action and adventure in it. For those of you who have never seen it, the movie follows their main character, Scott Pilgrim, who lives in Canada, plays in a band with his friends, and meets the girl of his dreams, Ramona Flowers. However, he meets Ramona when he's currently dating Knives Chow, and he kind of finds himself in a little bit of a love pickle there. Once he decides to start dating Ramona, he encounters all of her seven deadly exes. Encounters all of her seven evil exes. God damn, I can't say that. Ends up having to face off each one of these exes in order to earn Ramona's love. This movie is heavily influenced by a lot of Beck music and also retro video games from the 80s and 90s. A lot of Nintendo references, Mario, Legend of Zelda. If you're a fan of any of that stuff, you're gonna love this movie. Matt's a big music fan. He loves Beck, so chances are this will probably be one of his favorite watches there. So if you think Matt would enjoy Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, be sure to vote for that one. And the final movie on the list is Hot Rod, starring Andy Samberg. Now this movie was a big time sleeper. I never heard of it at all when it came out. I didn't watch it until later on, I think when it was streaming on Netflix, and a completely underrated and overlooked comedy. This thing is hilarious, and it's a very offbeat and awkward comedy. I want to say that this movie was way ahead of its time and underappreciated back when it came out. If this movie would have came out a decade later, it would have been heavily praised. In case you haven't seen Hot Rod, the movie follows the main character, Rod, who wants to be a stuntman just like his father before him, who had passed away many years ago. Rod lives with his mother and his stepfather, who ends up having a heart attack, and Rod goes out to start performing stunts to raise money for his stepfather, who had a heart attack and needs a heart transplant. With the help of his stunt crew and his younger brother, they go about town performing stunts, raising money, all to help out his stepfather. If you think Matt will enjoy this movie, go ahead and vote for this one, Hot Rod. So those are all the movies that we have for this week's list. Which one are you going to vote for? Which one do you think Matt should watch? The link to vote will be in the description of this video, also along with Matt's Letterboxd reviews, where you can read his past reviews of other movies that he's recently watched. Also, if you're interested in watching the trailers for each one of these movies on this week's list, we'll put those down in the description as well. So until next time, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, but mostly don't forget to vote. I'm Joe, we'll see you next time here on Movie of the Week.
Oh man, let's watch and unlock the fun. Movie of the week, we'll watch each one. Action, comedy, drama,